Hi, in this video I will summarize Chapter 12 of Clean Code by Robert Martin. Chapter 12 is all about four key principles that enable us to write software with great design. What is the number one principle? Is to run all tests continuously. This is a major foundation of any clean system. You need to be able to write systems that you can quickly verify are actually working as expected. Tests enable us to verify that systems work as expected. Tests also enable us towards writing modular code. It pushes us towards using a lot of design principles, using best practices. It also enables us to write smaller classes which have high cohesion, low coupling between various classes. So better system design. So tests overall is a good thing. Writing good amount of tests help us in a pretty big way towards achieving a clean software system design. So that's number one principle. Number two, you will, as a software developer, always encounter places where you would want to optimize, you would want to refactor, especially when you add new functionality. You might find that certain classes need to be refactored into its own classes. So refactoring is the second biggest, most important principle that you would want to keep in mind and implement when you're writing software systems. It eliminates code duplication. It also helps new functionality easy to understand, makes the code more modular. How you refactor is also going to be very important. What if you're adding a small feature and now all of a sudden you require to refactor like 15 or 20 classes or hundreds of classes? You might want to refactor them in stages, meaning add a feature and then refactor, or you might want to do it together. You might want to make it very easy for the other reviewer to really understand what is the change and what is the refactor, so that it makes their lives easier. But refactoring all the time is important, which is you are reducing tech debt. You're reducing the amount of time it'll take for the future code readers to understand the code as you go along. So you're paying your tech debt as you go along. So refactor all the time, eliminate duplication. And the number one principle, tests will enable you to refactor with confidence. So you'll not be worried. The third principle is to write expressive code. In one of the previous chapters, the author has done an extensive amount of discussion on writing classes with clear names, with clear intentions, the functionality of the method name. So there's a whole chapter on naming. So naming is an important aspect of writing expressive code. We would want to write code that's easy to understand, that actually does what the name implies. It is modular, it has clear responsibility, hopefully single responsibility. Makes it very easy for other person to understand what the code is doing. So taking time to write clear expressive code and making it easier for other people to understand is very important. So avoid convoluted code. Like, revisit your first iteration all the time and ensure that you have a long-term goal towards maintenance of your code. So if you write expressive code, the cost of maintenance goes down, the time to understand goes down. And one of the big ways you can write expressive code is by using Java design patterns. If you're using Java, there's multiple object-oriented design patterns that are out there that you should get familiar with. A lot of design principles like open-close principle, wherein the class is open for extension but closed for modification, dependency inversion in how classes are created, dependencies are injected, whole host of ways in which you could leverage some of these design principles to make your classes and your systems better. There's also creational patterns, behavioral patterns, structural patterns that are common patterns that you could leverage in your use cases. So familiarizing yourself with design principles for object-oriented code that you write is going to be a big advantage. There's a whole book on writing, on leveraging systems that build on effective designs. So we'll go into that in a later video. But this is a very important topic. For you to write expressive code, you would want to familiarize yourself with design principles and various object-oriented best practices. Final fourth principle in this chapter is to minimize the bloat of classes and method names. But don't be dogmatic on like how many you fixed number of methods, fixed number of classes. That's not the way. Be practical, but as much as possible minimize your bloat over time and maximize for high cohesion, so that it's easy to test, it's easy for changes to evolve, and multiple other reasons. But these are the four key summary points that I took out of this chapter. Running tests continuously all the time will push you towards really quick changes, refactoring, expressive code, make it easy for other people to understand, and use a lot of design principles that are out there so that you're not reinventing the wheel all the time. Thank you.